And welcome into the Fun Astrology Podcast. We have a new week. We are squarely in the third decan of the month of June. It is June 22nd, and we have another pretty busy astrological week ahead. So let's jump right in. The big news of today, which we will talk about last after we do the overview, is Neptune stations retrograde tonight. I want to do a whole theme on water. We'll talk about water here in just a couple of minutes. The Lord of the Deep, and what does it all mean? I've been studying Neptune in depth lately, understanding my own. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. Let's do a quick overview because this is a fairly busy week. On Thursday, after today, it's pretty quiet, just the moon doing its thing. Thursday, Venus stations direct. So everybody who has been going through a relationship challenge or the lack of a relationship challenge, there is hope. Venus will be turning around and moving forward again on Thursday. Then Friday, the moon wobble. Oh, need I say more? This has been the moon wobble of moon wobbles. Finally ends. It's out. And then on Saturday, this is a big one because Mars ingresses Aries. Okay, now what's so big deal about that? Mars comes home. But here's the deal. Because of Mars fits and stops orbit, basically if you watch it on the astrological wheel, you'll see that it moves really fast, and then it moves slow, and then, of course, it stations. Between all that, I mean, like Mars movement before it stations, it just crawls to a creep, and it inches along for a long time, and then finally it stops, and then it starts to move forward. It's just this really erratic movement. Basically, what happens is it moves like that, fast then slows down and stops, almost all the way through Aries. It almost gets through. Then it slows down to that little creep, and it turns around retrograde, goes almost all the way back through Aries, then it turns direct, and before it finally sees the light of Taurus, it will be January 6th, 2021. Astrologers have had their eye on this one big time because this is going to throw off a lot of squares while Mars is in Aries. So we'll talk about that later in the week when it happens, but just get ready because Mars is moving into Aries this week where it will be for the rest of this year. And we show both of those dates on the big overview video that I did, the 51-minute long video that's available on soulfoodtalks.com. Just go down to the freebies section, and it's right there, and I think it's in the astrology shop as well. It's the free video called 2020 through 2024 overview, and we talk about Mars and its position in Aries for the rest of this year. That's part of those 51 minutes. That's free if you'd like to just go grab it and download it. Then next Tuesday, we have another big one when we have the second of the 3 Jupiter-Pluto conjunctions. So we'll be taking a look at that. We'll take a look at the last one and move forward and look at the next one and put that whole package together. But yes, the middle Jupiter-Pluto conjunction next Tuesday. Okay, let's talk about the Lord of the Deep. 10:57 p.m. tonight, Eastern Time, Neptune turns retrograde. Now, by design, I am recording this by the sea. So I took a look at the Lord of the Sea in my own chart, realized there was some stuff there that I really needed to kind of work on and had a little clear spot. So I just came to a beach area undisclosed where I'm doing some deep Neptunian work, which I guess will be over after today. No, seriously, it will still be going on just in a different way. So I am literally recording this right by the ocean. So as Neptune goes retrograde, what kinds of areas are we talking about in our life? Well, as we talked about over the weekend, one thing that Neptune is really prominent about right now is just truthfulness, because a Neptunian keyword would be deception. I don't think you'd paint it under the characteristic of an outright lie, like saying the weather forecast for the beach today is that it's going to be 37 and sleet. Something like that, which we're seeing a lot of today. I mean, we are seeing so much of that today, it's not even funny. And even that kind of an exaggeration in a different context, you could almost slip something by. And people are slipping stuff by now. It's just absolutely incredible what's going on with the lack of truth in our culture today. That's a big Neptunian thing. Now, the other Neptunian characteristics are, first of all, we've talked about this quite a bit, the intuition piece of Neptune. Neptune really connects with your soul, and you get those deep soul answers from within, and it's Malcolm Gladwell's version of blink. That very first blink response when something happens, that's your Neptune. It's that internal guidance that is soft and deep and quick, and if you go back into your head, it's gone, because Neptune stays down here. Neptune is the deep inner part of the soul, that connection with the soul. Now, remember, like we talk about with astrology, there's always polarity. There's always two sides to it. So what's the other side of intuition and that knowing and that deep perception? It's confusion. And that would be the other big Neptunian characteristic, is that I've talked to a lot of people that have Neptune in one of their career areas of their 2nd, 10th, or 6th houses. And they are uncertain about career, just don't know which way to go. That's a typical Neptunian thing. A couple of other Neptunian keywords, and this is why I just needed some extended time because it covers so much. Neptune rules our connection with spirituality. In fact, Liz Green's book on Neptune is a really great source, and it's all about redemption. It's about coming back to our source, and that's a Neptunian archetype as well. Another characteristic on the shadow side, addictions. So here's kind of the package as we put all of this together. Between now and November 28th, if you want to really maximize Neptune's retrograde for yourself, you will look at those areas of lies and deceptions that you tell yourself. Because remember, retrograde brings everything inside. It internalizes. What are you addicted to? And I'm not talking about white powder or a leafy substance or a drink. But if those are, this would be a really good time to try to remove that from your life. If you look around and you have something that you can't live without, use this retrograde period to purge it. But at the end of the day, when we cut to the core, where is your perspective truly distorted? I mean, get really real with yourself. Where are you covering something up? Take the mask off. Do the internal work, because this is a very safe and supported environment in which to do that. It gives me chills thinking of the beauty of this, of doing this true, deep, Neptune deep, internal spiritual work, purging yourself of those things that no longer serve you. We've got a nice, big, long window to do this. It really is one of the greatest gifts, I think, from the universe, is this whole Neptunian connection. Maybe I need to do a subconscious mind mastery podcast on this. I don't know. I've been struggling for ideas over there, and maybe that's what it is. See, there's Neptune, and there's the clarity already. Boom! Voila! See how this works? Don't ever bet against astrology. Ask Donald Trump, right? Oy, man. Boy, did that ever unfold. Okay, listen, we're not going down that path. We've got enough for here. We'll maybe unpack this some the rest of the week, too, because we've got some space in which to do that. And this is a great, great theme. But that's Neptune retrograde. Begins tonight at almost 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.